come on out to Brown Mountain Bottle Works at 115 East Union Street in Morganton, North Carolina. The place to be for great craft beer. Browse their shelves filled with hundreds of craft beer selections. Relax and enjoy one of their 8 draft taps. Show your love for the store with their logoed t-shirts, hats, and glassware. Want to see what they have in stock 24 hours a day? Check out their website at www.brownmountainbottleworks.com. We'll see you there.
Hi, I'm Glenn. Dave's behind the camera as always, and we're the NC Beer guys, bringing you another episode of the NC Beer Buzz. We're a long way from home tonight. We found our way down to the beautiful downtown Manteo, historic Manteo, and we found our way to the Full Moon Café and Brewery, and owner, brewer, everything to this place. Paul Charron is here with us. He's going to talk about Full Moon, what they do here, and particularly about the beer, but we're also going to talk about the great food on the other side. We've been sampling the beer, and we can highly recommend the beer. We're soon going to try the food, and we'll highly recommend that, I'm sure. Paul, thanks for having us in.
Thanks for coming on in. We appreciate it.
So Full Moon has been going for how long, and tell us about it.
We've had the restaurant for 20 years. This is our 20th anniversary, come up in September. We started as a very small gourmet sandwich shop. We were across the street in the waterfront shops. Mm-hmm. This building here was a burnt out gas station.
Okay.
They rehabbed it. We opened up an ice cream shop in the main spot across the way there. Quickly realized that we did not like ice cream. So what we did is we moved the cafe from across the street to that spot, thinking it was a little bit more centrally located.
Right. And when did beer come along?
Well, there was a florist in the middle shop. This shop here was a dress shop. When the florist went out of business, we moved in there. When the dress shop went out of business, we moved in here. We tried ice cream again. We hate ice cream.
So you learned your lesson finally, I hope.
We finally did.
Okay.
And my wife opened up an art gallery in this room, and she did it for 5 years. And after 5 years, she did pottery. We had local artists. She couldn't do pottery anymore. She had arthritis in her hips, so it wasn't her art in here any longer. I was in the meanwhile brewing beer at home, and then brought it into the restaurant, started brewing.
And you come from a beer background. You knew beer.
I did. I started home brewing. I started home brewing in about 2000. A friend came over and said, "Hey, I got a kit. You want to try it with me?" I love beer. Since I was a kid, I was always the guy going out looking for that.
And you are a New Yorker by original?
In Manhattan, yeah,
okay.
Yorkville area.
So you knew something about
German
some lagers and some Belgians.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it was. It's Yorkville area. It's very German, very Irish. I always say when we were kids, because drinking age was a lot younger then. We went to all the German beer halls and all the Irish joints. So English ales and German lagers were what we grew up on. So
you started brewing.
I started brewing in 2000. Kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger with the pots.
And better.
Hopefully better. And then after a little while, it got to the point where I said to my wife, I think I can brew for the restaurant, and we'll do a brown ale. That's what I wanted to do. And she said, well, we're going to do it. And I said, I'll do it at midnight in the restaurant kitchen.
Okay.
And she said, you can't work 24 hours a day. My pottery's no longer in this pottery studio.
And she had kind of grown out of that. I mean, she knew she had to move on.
She couldn't do it anymore.
She was going to move on from that.
So she said, take this over. So I called the folks from the Weeping Radish and said, man, I have this room.
Because they were the only game on the island.
They were at that time. And Nick, their brewer up there, came down here and in 10 seconds on a piece of paper wrote out how we could work this room into a brewery. Right. And then it was done.
Nice.
A good friend of mine came in and built the bar. Police officer, and his part-time, he's a phenomenal carpenter.
And you don't know it from just watching this, but we are right adjacent to the cafe.
Oh yeah, it's one room away.
Off the same deck, you just walk right out on the deck and it's right there.
But we brew all the beer right here. We have to brew every other day to keep up with demand.
And what is the system for our people who don't see it and know it?
It is a 2-barrel single immersion system.
Okay.
We do 2 barrels at a time. It takes 14 days for that to brew, and then so I would say in 14 days, we have 12 kegs of whatever beer we brewed.
And you said you started with brown.
We started with brown. That was
That was your goal. I'm gonna do a brown ale.
brown ale, English ales. And then we realized pretty quickly that fresh beer that we're brewing here, English style, didn't have that same flavor you would get in a bottled beer. And then we realized, well, that's because of oxidation. That's because of age. So our beer was fresher and better. And it was like, wow, let's do other beers. And people came in and said, what else can you do? And honestly, the beer that sells the most for us is our blonde ale.
Okay.
We used to call it our Baltimore Blonde. My wife's from Baltimore.
Right.
And then when your wife gives up a studio to
That's
give you
right.
a brewery, we named the first beer after her.
Good choice.
But that beer was actually supposed to be a one-off, let's try if this system works.
Right.
So we used the least ingredients we could. It just made a very easy beer. And then we sold it. And it was a huge hit. So we were like, okay,
You
we'll
can't
brew
back
some
up on that
blonde.
one. So
No,
we got a brown
no.
and now we have a brown and a blonde.
So we did the brown and the blonde. I come from an Irish family. My folks are off the boat Irish. And so, of course, we had to do a stout. So then we had a brown, we had a stout, we had the blonde. And then after a year of doing this, an incredibly gifted individual came to our door, Owen Sullivan. He was a home brewer. Came in, he was also a cook. He said, hey, I'd like to cook for y'all, but I really would like to work in the brewery. And I said, I made that job for me, no. And my wife said, you can't do everything.
You can't do it all and
So-
keep doing it all.
Let Owen come on in, and what a phenomenal guy.
So she made a good choice.
She made the best choice ever. He is so particular. He is so precise. I know whatever we put out there is going to be a perfect style because he's not going to. He's never going to allow me to get anything but perfect beer to our customers.
Great, good.
I think the world of Owen Sullivan. He's phenomenal.
Good. Now, the beer, you have no other beer in the restaurant.
No, we only serve our own. We have 11 different flavors. We have everything from a barley wine, a Scotch ale, and imperial for our high gravities, all the way down to a beer that we did especially. We looked up this recipe online by researching receipts that a brewery had for a very, very old style porter that was shipped over to India, and it's our East India porter.
Okay.
And then even lower gravity than that, we have what we call we called it a breakfast porter because we brewed it for the brewers. It is a 2.7% beer.
Right.
Something you could actually have quite a few of without feeling any ill effects.
Session all day.
It's our session porter. We started selling it to our customers. It was a in-house beer for a while, for just ourselves. We have an IPA, a pale ale. Our ESB is my favorite. It's everything we do is English style.
Right.
Everything's English style. We try to keep it English hops, English grains. Our water profiles, we try to match the same profiles you would find over in England or Scotland or Ireland. We're trying to bring fresh British Isle beers to downtown Manhattan.
And something they can't get everywhere else.
Right.
Particularly locally.
Right. I mean, everyone does an IPA. We do a British style IPA. We use British hops. We do our ESB is all British grains. Everything we do is all British grains.
Right. Great.
And it's been wonderful.
Now, in recent years, you've also, besides just supplying the cafe, you've got some local accounts.
We do. We started last year brewing bigger batches. We actually contract out some space at the Weeping Radish. We bought some of our own tanks, our own kegs, and Owen and myself go up there 2 or 3 times a week.
And brew the bigger volume.
Brew 20 barrels.
Okay.
And we go
brand that and put it out in local
We brand
accounts.
that, and when it leaves here, we can't sell Full Moon Cafe beer to, let's say, another cafe. People are going to be like, I'm selling your beer.
Yeah.
So what we've done is we've relabeled the beer.
Okay.
And it's Lost Colony Brewery.
All right, so for our viewers, we don't want to confuse them.
Right.
If they're on the Outer Banks
And they want
see
to-
a Lost Colony brewery,
Lost Colony beer.
On
Lost
tap.
On tap.
it's not bottled or packaged.
No. All
On tap, a
direct.
Lost Colony beer on tap.
It's from the Full Moon Cafe.
I got you. Okay.
But it's and it's been fun. It's been a big change for us. We had all sorts of cute names for each one of our beers. Like I told you earlier, a local officer in his free time built our bar, built all of this for us. So to honor him, our red ale He asked, he goes, all I would like is an Irish red ale. So we brewed him an Irish red ale, and I said, we're going to name it after you.
Sure.
So I was going to name it Big John, because he's a big man. And we made our own tap handles, and they were all funky tap handles. So to try to get a feel for what the tap handle would look like, I Googled Big John.
Okay.
Don't
Google
Big John. So I said, John, we're not going to call it Big John. We're going to call it, because you're a police officer, Paddy Wagon Red Ale.
Right.
So all our names are cute names like that. But then we realized that gets confusing. So what we've done is everything we have is a Lost Colony Brewery beer, and then we just go with what the beer is. So we have
Lost Colony IPA.
Blonde, Lost Colony IPA, Lost Colony Stout.
Right.
It's not as much fun. Our tap handles aren't
But
as
the branding
wild.
is probably more successful that way.
I think it is.
Good. So you've been in this a while now.
Yeah, well, we've had the restaurant for 20 years.
Are you more a beer guy or a food guy?
Say that one more time.
More a beer guy or a food guy?
Oh, absolutely more a beer guy. Oh, mostly a beer guy. You know, it's liquid bread.
Okay.
My wife is the genius behind everything in this joint, including the brewery. If it wasn't for her telling me how to do it and what we can do, we wouldn't be here. She is...
It takes a wise man to follow a good lead.
Oh, you know, it always is.
That's
always
great.
is. No, she's wonderful. She does all the food. She came from Baltimore, came from a huge family, 9 brothers and sisters. So, and she was one of the oldest, so she did a lot of cooking. When she was a kid, her mom always experimented with all different styles of foods. So when she opened the cafe, she kind of went with a different, rather than fried food direction. She had quiches and hummus.
So if I want Calabash style fried seafood, I can go somewhere else maybe.
Well, no, not anymore. Once we
Okay.
brought the beer in,
Okay.
we had to go with a more beer-centric menu, and we've evolved. Once the brewery came in, I think for a restaurant to do 20 years, you can't stay with what you first started with. So we went from white linens and more high-end dishes at night, and gourmet sandwiches and things during the day, to at this point, after 4 years with beer, we have lots of fried seafood, some of the best fish and chips. If anything, if I'm a foodie, I'm a fish and chip man. It's kind of the best. So we do very large portions of local flounder. We brought in one of the half-pound burgers are out of this world. Onion rings, all sorts of things. But we've kept the quiches and the pastas, lamb and duck at night.
So it's kind of something for everybody. Everybody can find their place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Lunch and dinner place or some
Lunch and dinner, no breakfast.
Okay.
The only breakfast we have in here is that breakfast porter.
Okay, I got you. And all week or just weekends or?
Oh no, we're 7 days a week, lunch and dinner.
All around.
Now we are seasonal.
Okay.
We will close in December and January.
Come back up March.
And we open back up in March. And the nice part is, at that time of year, Owen and I are in here, mostly Owen. I always say Owen and I. But Owen's mostly in here, and he'll be brewing up our barley wines and our imperials and our scotches. And we're like great squirrels. We put them in kegs, squirrel them away, let them age. So by the time we reopen, and let's say March it gets busy, and by June and July, those 3 beers have aged perfectly where they're ready to be served.
That's great.
It's perfect timing for us.
Great. Thanks so much for having us in today.
Thanks for coming on in.
It's great being here. Beer's great. We're going to try the food out, as I said.
Excellent.
So when you guys make your way down to Manteo, on the way to Outer Banks, make sure you stop down on Queen Elizabeth Avenue in downtown historic Manteo and check out the Full Moon Café and Brewery. Ask for Paul if he's here.
I'm always here.
This is the NC Beer Guys reminding you to, until next time, to drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.